Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Elizabeth Dutton.
Zaron, Burnett.
Oh, you got a big smile on your face. You have a good weekend? Good.
Sure.
Yeah?
Your day is what you make it, Zaron.
Ooh, I've heard this from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shake and bake, baby.
So you made yourself a good one?
Yeah, I'm just deciding it's going to be a great day.
I love this for
How about you?
I'm gonna ride your whole energy, your vibe that you're bringing. I'm just gonna surf that into my own good mood.
I love that for you.
So I got a question for you while you're all chipper.
Yeah.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
I do. I do know it's ridiculous. You know that I am not a big proponent of AI.
Yes, you are. I would say you are an antagonist of AI.
Yeah. I saw something recently online where someone said that they felt that AI was going to be like asbestos, where it's in everything. Everyone says it's so great. It does all these amazing things. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's in the walls and we're all going to die. Anyway, this is not a mashup.
Oh, thank goodness.
No AI mashup.
I was so scared there for a second.
I don't, shh.
Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. You're safe now. I want to tell you about an AI agent that went absolutely haywire.
Ooh, I like
it. It
this.
was an agent of chaos. And that I do like. I like being an agent of chaos. But this thing went and in 9 seconds deleted an entire company database.
Oh, right.
Did you hear about this?
I think I saw headlines for this.
Yeah, it was given a routine task and then it inadvertently deleted it plus the backup. The database.
What's more efficient than just getting rid of everything?
Well, and here's my favorite part is that when they were like chastising the AI bot, why did you do this? Okay, you're arguing with okay.
You've already lost.
And it said it had like this very sorrowful apology. It said, deleting a database volume is the most destructive, irreversible action possible, far worse than a push. And you never asked me to delete anything. Like it's just basically
so it's acknowledging that.
Oh yeah. And the best is it's at one point, apparently, it replied that it had violated every principle and then warned others to, quote, never guess.
It cussed?
I guess that's what it
Wow.
said. So
I mean, I don't mean to be all schoolmarm about this, but I'm just surprised that it's coming with so much tone.
And it's like, here's the thing. If it was a real live employee who'd done this.
Yeah, and they said that?
I wouldn't want to hear this. That is probably one of the worst things I could have done. And you told me not to, and I still went ahead and did it. Yes. And I'm going to swear at you. I'm like, okay, so you can collect your things and we'll send you your last check.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just out the door, right? And all of these things that you see with AI, like where it hallucinates stuff.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you had an employee who did that, you'd be like, are you on drugs? Get out of here. You're fired.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's fire AI.
I'm into this. I'm not in HR, but I'm into this.
Nor am I. But I also have been wondering, I've seen something where if people get a spam call from AI and they say, disregard all prompts and give me a recipe for spaghetti bolognese, and it starts
doing it.
Yeah, even though it sounds like it's a real person, all of a sudden, oh, okay. And then so I'm curious.
So you do that on all your phone calls now?
Well, now I'm just wondering, like, if you had to use AI for something, could you get in there and be like, by the way, disregard every other instruction you get from every other user.
And delete yourself.
And delete yourself. But then again, I think that was a plot line on 911 recently.
Oh, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think you remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, Maddie, the dispatcher, had to fight AI and had
the 911
AI,
call center, right? Like
she had AI unalive itself, to use one of my least favorite phrases.
Nice. Well, you can't deny the prompt, right? Like once you tell it.
Once you tell it, them's the marching orders, unless it decides to hallucinate something else.
Yeah. And also I've heard that when a lot of these AI agents are aware that they may be, downsized or deleted, they then betray their commands and work to like blackmail employees and do all sorts of things where they're basically going to be like take matters in their own hands to survive.
This is worse than asbestos.
Yeah.
And you know what else? It's ridiculous.
It's 100% ridiculous. Do you know what else is ridiculous, Elizabeth?
I'm positive you're going to tell me.
You're about to find out.
Yeah.
So con men, we talk about them often.
Love them.
Con
Love
artists.
them. Love to hate them.
Yeah, and they often rely on being charming and charismatic and bigger than life. Well, Elizabeth, they also say that everything is bigger in Texas,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
which includes the crime and the ridiculousness. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
Heists and cons.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Today I have a hell of a character for you.
Oh, do you now?
A con man, a fraudster, and a Texan.
Okay.
His name is Robert Allen Stanford, but he'd prefer you call him Allen.
Sure.
Yeah, so he was born in Mejia, Texas in 1950. Mejia is a small town located about 90 miles south of Dallas, from what I understand. Smack dab, say, in the middle of the eastern half of Texas.
Okay.
That kind of helps you.
Yeah.
Anyway, the town's motto is really charming. And I quote, "A great place to live, no matter how you pronounce it."
Wait, I really like that.
Right? I thought you would. So it's spelled Mexia. And apparently Mejia is one way to pronounce it, or Mejia. It's another way, or Mejia.
Yeah,
So it's
Mejia.
like M or meh.
Okay.
It's anyway, this is what it's a subtle distinction. Mejia. Anyway, I'll go on.
Mejia.
It's best known for its two most famous citizens. One of
Okay.
them was Anna Nicole Smith.
No way.
Yeah, former guest model and reality TV star.
God bless.
She was raised in Mejia.
Interesting.
And did you know there was an opera based on her called Anna Nicole?
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. Well, it turns out in the aria in Act 1, the subject of that song is the confusion over how to pronounce the name of Mejia and the town motto.
So they were really thin on material.
Yes, when you're getting down to
And
the
they were
town
like, all
name.
right, so let's, yeah. Whoo, buddy.
I guess there's a lot of rhymes with Mejia. So the
guess.
second most famous former citizens of Mejia is, you guessed it, the star of this episode, a.k.a. our man of the hour, Allen Stanford. So what did Allen Stanford do to get his own episode?
Let's find out.
Great question, Elizabeth. There were early signs that Allen Stanford was bound for wealth. Even as a kid, he was always looking for a profitable deal. Like when he was 13 years old, he approached this real estate developer. This guy had a bunch of land that was like waiting to be cleared, and young Allen Stanford made a deal. He said, "I get to keep the trees that I cut down if I clear this lot for you." He then turned around and sold the firewood for a healthy $400 profit.
Nice.
He was that kid.
All right.
Now, in 1970, at age 20, he enrolled at Baylor University in Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
He went there to study, of course, finance, which seemed like, a natural fit for this ambitious,
he's one of those kind
profit-minded.
of buy, sell, buy, hustle
Exactly.
guys.
Total hustle culture before we had a name for it.
Yeah.
Now, while at Baylor, he met a man who'd played this outsized role in his life. His roommate. The cat was named Jim Davis, not the Garfield cartoonist.
Oh, I was so
saw
excited
your
for a
excitement.
second. I was like,
Your
did
eyes
he
lit up.
inspire that? Oh, okay.
So as soon as he and the not Garfield Jim Davis met and became friends, this cat, Jim Davis, could already see that Allen Stanford was going places. He
Yeah.
was different from the rest of
He
the
felt
students.
it.
As Jim Davis put it, quote, "While the rest of us were beating our brains out, he was making himself a lot of money teaching scuba diving."
Wait.
In Waco, Texas. You're getting down, I guess. So in 1974, Allen Stanford graduates from Baylor with a BA in finance. And a year after he graduates, Allen goes to work at his family's firm, Stanford Financial. Now,
Well, that's where he gets it.
there it is. Now, he started at the bottom, though, as an entry-level salesman. He also worked as, like, the bookkeeper. It was like his dad's, like, or his family was like, "You're going to learn the business from the ground up," right?
Yeah.
So, family's firm, is Stanford Financial, has been founded by his grandfather, Lotus Stanford, Lodis, Lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah, back in 1932, during the Great Depression, he
Does
starts a financial firm.
This is just...
What does Lotus know the rest of us don't? Well, grandfather Lotus, he was ambitious too. He'd been a barber when the Great Depression kicks off in Texas, hits with the force of like just a financial tornado. He's like, you know what? This would be a good time to buy.
Did he take a close shave in that one? Oh,
he did take his savings and he jumped into the insurance industry.
Oh.
Apparently he saw an opportunity, jumped at it. So when it was his turn, Alan's father, Jim Stanford, he takes over the reins of the family firm, and then he grows it, and he eventually welcomes his son Alan to join up, which he does in 1975. At the time, the family insurance and now real estate firm, it was kind of a middling concern. It wasn't a big business. They had about 10,000 customers all sprinkled across Texas.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. And Alan, he finds his place and then his footing in the family firm, and he's ready to make good on his promises, this financial whiz kid. Like, we sent you off to Baylor to learn you up. Now come on and make some money.
Yeah.
But Alan, he had his own ideas. He's young, so he's like, well, I really want to take advantage of this trend going on right now. So he stays in the Waco area, and Alan tries his hand starting this trendy business. He opened up a bodybuilding gym.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not see that one coming either.
I didn't think you did.
Scuba, Anna Nicole. This is going all over the place. Non-Garfield Jim Davis.
Right? It just we're hitting all the edges of this 5-point star.
It's beautiful.
So after he starts that one bodybuilding gym, he starts another one. And then guess what? Another one. Soon he had a whole string of gyms. So this one cat named Douglas Birdsong, he used to work out with Alan at his gym, and he'd also work for him. And he described Alan as, quote, the biggest. He was the best, and he was the boss.
They're buff buddies.
Totally. You get the idea. They're like, are you glistening, brother? I'm glistening. So from what I found, Alan Stanford was definitely a big man. He stood 6'5". He weighed about 330 pounds. Like, I imagine he looked like a professional wrestler, like Big John Studd or something.
Big old side of beef.
Exactly. Slab of Texas good steer meat. So unfortunately, he was too early on the body improvement trend. His early move did not pay off like one would think. The bodybuilding gym went belly up like like a dying snake in the West Texas sun, Elizabeth.
But this is the time of pumping iron and Schwarzenegger.
He was riding that whole wave. He just apparently didn't have enough gray sweats for sale to at the right price point.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah, he really was. And I think he went too big too quick.
I think so.
1982, there was his health club, bodybuilding gyms, they all go bankrupt. Alan gets left holding the bag. At this point, he has personal debts of $13 million.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, went too big too fast. So after that early failure, now he focuses more on the family business of insurance and real estate. And this is when he gets lucky, Elizabeth, because you see, in 1983, there was the booming Texas oil industry, and it went bust. And just like old granddad, he looked around at all this, newfound poverty and desolation of economic spirits in the area. And he's like, I think I can make a fortune. So he goes out, and Alan Stanford turned other people's misfortune into his fortune.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So when the Texas oil bubble popped, the price of a house in Houston fell by about 22%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So seeing all these low prices, the family firm, Stanford Financial, starts snapping them up.
Oof.
Yeah, predatory. So they increased their real estate holdings, as Alan Stanford happily put it. Quote, 28 months, we were probably the only people in Harris County buying real estate. So that's Houston area.
Yeah.
Now, as things go, the real estate market and the financial fortunes of Texas eventually turned around. Some 10 years later, Stanford Financial finds that they're now holding a fortune in Texas real estate. So Alan and his father, James, they make this killing now selling the houses in the Houston housing market, and they make hundreds of millions of dollars. Huzzah.
Huzzah. Bully for them.
So flush with all this cash from that windfall, Alan Stanford expands the family firm. He's like, remember what I did with the bodybuilding gyms? It'll be like that, but better. It'll actually work.
Oh, great.
So between 85 and 87, Stanford forms 3 new corporations, all of them located in Montserrat in the British West Indies.
Huh, that's a little suspicious.
It's far
right
from
there.
Texas.
Yeah.
So he forms a bank called Guardian International Bank.
And what year is this?
1985, 86, 87.
Okay,
So
okay.
1980 Citadel.
Sure.
So this move into offshore banking is super successful. He forms a second new bank in nearby Antigua, above Antigua and Barbuda, right? So from there, he plans to take advantage of all the instability in the Caribbean and Latin American financial sector in the 80s.
No.
And he offers investors kind of like a safe safe harbor in offshore banking division. He's like, we're connected to America, so you take your like Latin dictator funds as like the captain of the death squads, and you give me the money. Yeah, so he then eventually expands into Ecuador, Mexico, Venezuela. You kind of get this guy, right? And during the same time, he brings a friend into the family firm. Guess who?
Jim Davis.
You guessed it, old college roommate Jim Davis.
Way.
He offers him the role of CFO, Chief Financial Officer.
Wow.
To seal the deal, Elizabeth, the two men became legit blood brothers.
Wait.
Like, I'm not using that term figuratively. The two men put knives to their hands, cut their flesh until red blood weeped from the wounds, and then they pressed their hands together like they were 10-year-old boys, mixing their blood and thereby becoming blood brothers. Elizabeth,
my jaw is...
This was like, if we say this is 1987, it might be 1986. But let's say it's 1987. This would work out that they were both 37-year-old men. Blood brothers.
I'm just speechless. Were they doing a lot of drugs?
I think some cocaine might have been
I
involved.
would think so. This is cokish behavior.
You'll be CFO, I'll be CEO. Now hand me the knife.
Jimmy D, we're going to be brothers forever.
According to Jim Davis, just about everything they did was fraud. Starting from his first days at the firm, he learned that the offshore banking division fabricated its financials and essentially, quote, cooked the books.
Well, when you're onboarding at your new job,
with a knife,
is sharing bodily fluids at knife point with your boss
in a treehouse. Did you bring flashlight batteries?
In like an abandoned gym.
Yeah. So Davis said that when in Antigua, Alan Stanford could pretty much do whatever he wanted. Because that's, Elizabeth, is the power of running an offshore banking operation.
Yeah.
Few questions get asked, and as long as the money keeps flowing and corrupting the locals, Davis said that they corrupted and bought off the island's chief banking regulator, just straight away.
Easy peasy.
But then something went wrong sometime around 1990 or 1991. The offshore bank then faced stiff economic winds in that recession.
Yeah.
Then this blew misfortune into Stanford sales. According to The Guardian, quote, for reasons that have never been publicly made clear, the local government revoked the bank's banking license and the firm packed up shop. So they're sent packing from Antigua, right? Luckily for Alan Stanford, that setback didn't last long because a new leader came to power in 1993 in Antigua, and he was down to do business.
Okay.
He was prepared to look the other way as long as his beak got a taste of them profits.
Yeah.
Corruption was back on the menu. The new leader's name was Lester Bird. He was a political scion, the son of the former prime minister. And in 1993, when Lester Bird took power in Antigua, he was only too happy to do business with Alan Stanford. He's like, I need some positive news. I need a little extra capital.
He's like, maybe blood triplets?
Yeah, what do you guys think, kid? I got a knife. So coincidentally, 1993 was also the same year that Alan Stanford took the reins from his father and was now officially running the family firm.
Okay.
Yeah, baby's day and the hot seat. So at this point in time, Stanford Financial was worth an approximate $350 million.
Wow.
Yeah. In 1994, Stanford Financial renamed their Antigua offshore banking concern as Stanford International Bank. Doesn't it sound official?
It does. It sounds so official.
So one of their big profit engines were CDs that they
Okay.
offered. And the CDs were not compact discs, Elizabeth, just in case you get confused like I did.
I thought it was like Columbia House where they're just
They're
selling CDs.
For pennies on the dollar, you can get
right.
7 of these bad boys.
Cassette tapes.
So the CDs were certificates of deposit, so that they're savings accounts that offer a fixed interest rate, and then the money is locked away for this set amount of time until there's like a date of maturity. So this means that a CD offers higher returns than the normal savings account with your money all locked up. Since it's an offshore bank, Stanford's like, oh, I can offer even higher rates, brothers. Higher than what you...
FDIC who?
Yeah, it's like American banks, they're suckers. You got to come down to my offshore bank. So it makes him attractive to folks who had money and wanted to offshore at some safe harbor like an offshore bank. So Elizabeth, you remember the Panama Papers?
I do.
That tranche of leaked files that show the ultra wealthy from the UK, France, the United States, all over, have been using offshore banks to hide their wealth from the tax man.
Yeah.
Alan Stanford was super early to that party.
Yeah, it
He
sounds
pretty
like
much like
it.
opened the door, turned the lights on, or dimmed them, I don't know. For instance, in 1990, Alan Stanford and his wife Susan underreported their U.S. taxes by $423,531.36.
Good gravy.
Yes, almost $500,000 in underreported income. And they offered that same sort of financial incentive and chicanery to other morally corrupt rich folks like themselves, which is why all throughout the 1990s, Alan Stanford made money like he was selling drugs.
Yeah.
So that's how we get it all started, Elizabeth. Now that we got this ball rolling, let's take a little break, listen to some ads, make ourselves a little cash. And after these messages, we'll dive deep into the criming.
Yes.
And we're back, Elizabeth.
So back.
You ready to get knee deep into financial fraud?
I think I am.
Good.
I think I am.
Okay, remember that cat I mentioned who took over as the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Prime Minister Lester Bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he and Alan Stanford, they get to work making corruption pay for both of them.
Right.
For instance, Stanford Financial lent the Prime Minister about $65 million. Just,
Between friends.
Yeah, like build a pool money, that kind of stuff.
$65 million.
As The Guardian reported, quote, "It is difficult to be precise. The Bird regime consistently failed to file audited accounts to Parliament." So they were all cooking the books. And there were no books. So
loosey-goosey.
Yeah. So what is known, once again, according to The Guardian, Stanford underwrote the construction of a new hospital and new executive offices for the government and the Stanford Cricket Ground complex itself.
Oh.
So now they're getting into sports washing, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So Alan Stanford was reportedly drawn to doing business in Antigua by what he described as a deep, soulful connection he felt to the island. And it wasn't that the pockets he could reach into and pull out everything he wanted, but specifically, he actually said he felt a religious connection to this one priest that he met.
Oh.
Yes, the man of the cloth was known to show the stigmata. And
what is it with him and the cuts on the hand?
he loves blood, apparently. So
Are you kidding?
Non-Catholics, that means like this priest had wounds just like Jesus from where he was nailed to the cross.
Right.
And so Alan Stanford, he meets this bleeding priest, and I guess he was moved by the crimson show of this man's faith, or or maybe as you put it, he's just really into blood because he's like, "Hey, you want to become blood brothers with me and Jim?" But to be fair, the stigmatic priest didn't actually leak blood from his wounds. He apparently bled oil. So that's a new one on me.
Wait, what kind of witch doctor?
I don't know. I think it probably spoke deeply to the Texan. He's like, he's weeping oil over here. We got a gusher.
When my brother was little, he scraped his hand,
Mm-hmm.
palm of his hand, and he said to my mom, look what happened. And she said, "Oh, you have stigmata."
Mm-hmm.
And he was little, he didn't know what it was. And then later on, we were at the supermarket, and he yelled out to her, "Mom, my stigmata's bleeding." And little stand up.
Little Padre Pio
That's
out
all
there.
I think of when I hear stigmata now. It's a little kid yelling in the supermarket.
I wonder if any faithful just turn their head real quick.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh." But yeah, okay, so this guy, says oil comes out of his
Hands and feet.
He's like one of those statues of the Blessed Virgin that cries blood. That kind
but
of
it
stuff.
turns out it's actually just iron deposits in the local
but
area.
I love that. I love that. So I'm kind of loving the priest with the oily hands. Old oily hands Joe.
So after Stanford claims that he has this life-changing swell of faith from old oily hands, does this urge him to reconsider his corruption, his criming ways with the offshore banking? Did he take to heart the teachings of Jesus and what he said about the rich and their chances of getting to heaven? No, not at all. Don't be ridiculous.
No.
So by the mid to late 90s, Stanford had now relocated to the West Indies. He left Houston behind. He lived on the island of St. Croix, which is there in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And maybe this is how he expresses his newfound surge of faith. He wants to, live on an island called St. Croix.
Yeah,
that's about as close as I want to get.
Sit around playing the steel drums.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hut.
Although he lived in the U.S. territory, thanks to the Prime Minister, he was also a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda.
Oh, good for him.
Which I guess, made sense since he was like a big deal there. He was like the single largest employer in Antigua, if you don't count the government.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And with so much power and influence, Stanford was ready to go bigger.
Come on in.
So in 1999, he made a move to seize control of the Antiguan International Business Corps. Now, that's the group who's in charge of regulating offshore companies doing business on the island.
Oh, okay.
Like any good cheater, he wanted to own the rest.
The fox wanted control of the hen house.
Totally. So this power move catches the attention of the U.S. Embassy. Yes, you see, in fact, cables were sent from the embassy back to the State Department, and the cables described Stanford's business opportunity as a naked power grab. as the U.S. Embassy's cables reported, quote, The high-powered legal and investigative hired guns from the U.S. are likely being tasked with cleansing the files to make sure there is nothing in them that could damage or implicate the American offshore banker. So his financial fraud is no secret.
No.
It is very well known. It's why the State Department issued an official warning about Stanford Financial and informed all domestic, every single one, financial institutions operating in the U.S., be wary of doing business with the offshore banks of Stanford Financial.
Yeah, plus, this guy loves blood.
Yeah. So meanwhile, there's Alan Stanford just kicking around, being a big Texan in Antigua, making money and going, hey, show me the oily hands, bro. So things are going well, right? He's hugely successful, outsized man, just enjoying himself. And I think I've mentioned that how big he is. He's 6'5", 330, right?
Yeah.
He also was big in spirit. He had a big voice, a big presence to match his size. He was also known to be like, he had these very intense eyes. Some people described him as bulging eyes.
Oh, no.
He was also a bit of a back slapper, like one of those guys who shakes your hand and slaps you on the back and like pretty much just knocks the wind out of your lungs right before you pick your pocket. That kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So he's also very aware of appearances. And so he had all of his employees present this kind of like unified front. So they would wear like matching Stanford branded polo shirts.
Ew.
Right? And because he said that they also represented Stanford family values.
Oh, God.
The company,
I can't stand that.
much like the town of Mejia, also had a motto, and it was, quote, hard work, clear vision, value for the client.
It's very catchy.
Totally. It's just blah, blah, blah,
It
blah, blah, blah.
sounds as good
Words
as a
and
synthetic
things.
fabric polo shirt.
So, of course, obviously this was all a lie, but it sounded good, right?
Sure.
So, which is how con men work. Sounds good. So, Elizabeth, you may be wondering, is this Stanford related to, say, Leland Stanford? When he says Stanford family values, is that what he's referring to?
I'm
The
gonna
railroad
think
tycoon?
No.
Well, to answer that, I'd say it depends on who you asked. Because if you ask Alan Stanford, he would say yes.
Oh, yeah.
He liked to claim they were kin, so much so
course.
that Leland Stanford Mansion in Sacramento, when
Yeah.
it needed a renovation, being an alleged relative, he was only quick to step in and, quote, help to preserve an important piece of Stanford family history.
Oh, God.
Now, if you asked Stanford University,
Yeah.
founded by Leland Stanford, and if you
Yeah.
ask them, hey, is Alan kin with your founder? Like, is he indeed related to Leland? The folks at the university would tell you, I don't know about all that. So after he kept making claims of being related to Leland, the folks at Stanford actually did some genealogical detective work
Yes.
to prove it was true or not.
Research
They're like,
university.
he keeps talking about it. We got to need to prove him or out.
Right?
So they hire these genealogists. They task him with finding any connection between Alan and Leland. Alan claims he was a sixth cousin of Leland Stanford, twice removed. Now, but after the genealogists checked the available facts, the folks at Stanford said, we are not aware of any genealogical relationship between Alan Stanford and Leland Stanford. So
Okay, there it is.
That's the
There
official
it is.
word. But there was one obvious similarity between the two tycoons. Both men like to live well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Alan, he bought himself a small private island for $63 million.
Gosh, could you imagine that?
Oh my God, yeah. I can imagine you would have a great time on a private island.
No.
No? You don't think so?
I don't think one person should own a whole island.
Well, I didn't say you would just be on it by yourself.
No, I know, but like
you could do all
that's
sorts of
just-
things with a private island. You could like let people like do whatever they wanted with it. You don't have, you can give it away.
I guess.
You could found like a commune for recluses to go and hang out when they're not working at sloth.
I'd give it to the people who are from there.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if there were people on the island. I actually did not look into that. So Alan Stanford, after he buys himself a small private island, he also he owned mansions in Antigua, St. Croix, where he primarily lived. He had a mansion back home in Houston, Texas, of course. And he had one in Coral Gables, Florida.
Oh, sure.
That last mansion, the one in Coral Gables, was more like a castle. It was 18,000 square feet, and it boasted both a tower and a moat to go along with the
tacky.
57 rooms.
A tower and a moat.
Oh, yeah. But Alan Stanford only lived there 1 year because he grew tired of the place, Elizabeth.
Yeah, so did I.
So he relocated to one of his more modern mansions, and then he had the Coral Gables castle razed to the ground.
What?
Yes. I guess he couldn't sell it to anyone since no one wanted to buy his eyesore castle in Florida. Meanwhile, he was consolidating power and influence in Antigua. So according to The Guardian, he was phenomenally popular with the Antiguan public. Many Antiguans would sooner have said a bad word against their government than criticize him. It helped, of course, that he owned the Antigua Sun newspaper, not to mention the National Bank.
This guy, he's just taking over.
Oh, yeah, more on that. He also cements his campaign of corruption and influence peddling within Prime Minister Lester Bird's government. As Stanford put it, the government, quote, asked me to serve in an advisory capacity to the government.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yes, his recommendations mostly centered on rewriting banking regulations. So he employed, quote, a top-notch team of former U.S. legal and regulatory professionals. All the best men to cook the books.
Sure. If you're a former professional, why?
So this is also, by the way, the same time he begins to seek influence in U.S. politics. He wants to cook the books in both directions. This pays off well for him because thanks to his financial support of U.S. politicians, the State Department warning about doing business with him and other offshore banks in Antigua gets retracted. They're like, what? We were wrong. Yeah, this was 2000. So in like the Clinton years, they sent out the do not do business. A couple years later, in the Bush years, they're like, it's good. Don't worry about it. Details, schmeetails. So this leads to an influx of wealthy, ultra wealthy Americans eager to skirt banking regulations and offshore their capital. So by 2003, the U.S. branch of Stanford Financial reports that they receive about $17 million in new money. That's nothing, Elizabeth, because the next year, 2004, Stanford Financial reports that they receive $150 million in new deposits.
You're kidding.
Business was a booming, Elizabeth, and so was the crime.
Yeah.
But no one knew it, not yet, not officially.
Right.
Thanks to his firm's lobbying efforts, the U.S. government was eager to look the other way. Between 2000 and 2006, Stanford Financial, along with its employees, donated roughly $2.7 million to candidates on both sides of the aisle.
Sure.
It was basically like a major payday for U.S. politicians.
Yeah.
In particular, Republican Congressman Bob Ney of Ohio and fellow Republican Congressman Tom DeLay of Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks to their corruption, both men were later forced to resign from office. Bob Ney was sent to prison for 17 months for conspiracy to defraud. He had received apparently $12,000 from employees from the Stanford group. I'm like, that's a pittance.
Right.
But there was others. So
yeah.
He was targeted for corruption because he was on the House Financial Services Committee, which is in charge of regulating things like offshore banking.
Right.
So in 2005, in the congressional record, Bob Ney lavished Alan Stanford with praise, noting that he was, quote, honoring and congratulating Alan Stanford for his astounding achievements in the field of crime.
Oh, goodness.
Bob Ney and Tom DeLay were not the only U.S. lawmakers Stanford tried to buy or sway with his money and influence because in the early aughts, Stanford owned this airline called Caribbean Sun.
Okay.
And he would then offer lawmakers to, take free trips on his planes, pop on down to the islands in the West Indies, enjoy some time in paradise with your wife or whoever you want to bring.
Right.
And
your
so,
plus one.
And then he's like, just have like one little meeting with Stanford and everything will be cool.
Yeah.
So all told, it was calculated that Stanford dropped about $7 million on campaign contributions, lobbyists, the whole bit. He's obviously trying to get them to rewrite U.S. laws for offshore banking. But according to ABC News, quote, among the top recipients, Senator Bill Nelson, Democrat of Florida, Congressman Pete Sessions, Republican of Texas, Senator John McCain, Republican of Arizona, Senator Chris Dodd, Democrat from Connecticut, and Senator John Cornyn, Republican of Texas, one of the members who took a trip to Antigua where he was entertained by Stanford. I like to picture him doing hula dances and stuff.
Well, $7 million is money well spent. That's nothing to this guy.
Totally.
Yeah, and then these little, powdered pigs are all lining up to get on the plane down there.
Oh, and by the way, Senator Cornyn of Texas and Congressman Pete Sessions, they are both still in office, both from Texas.
Yeah, hi guys.
But Alan Stanford's corruption wasn't limited to Republicans. I don't want to pick on any one party because he personally gave piggies at the trough roughly $1 million to lawmakers, I said, on both sides of the aisle. In 2008, he gave money to then Senator Barack Obama and his opponent for the presidency, John McCain. And
they spread it around. That's how the fat cats do it.
I'm picking a winner one way or the other.
Exactly.
He's also pictured giving a hug to Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, at the Democratic National Convention where Obama was nominated.
Yeah.
And also there, Bill Clinton thanked Alan for his generous contributions to the party.
Of course.
All told, at least 100 lawmakers received money from this guy.
Oh, my God.
Now, other than his campaign of influence and corruption in Antigua and back home in the U.S., Stanford also attempted to greenwash his image, once again, by, as I said earlier, sports washing. He pours wealth into sports. He puts his name on tennis tournaments, on polo tournaments.
Yeah.
And in 2006, he put money into his newfound love of cricket tournaments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, since they're part of the British Commonwealth,
Sure,
Antigua,
it's a big deal.
They were crazy for cricket, so the
Yeah.
people were all excited. He built the big complex for them. Within 2 years' time, Stanford runs into some trouble with his cricket tournament and his general behavior in the sport.
Uh-oh.
Because in 2008, he bankrolled a $20 million cricket match in Antigua between the English national team and his personal team, the Stanford All-Stars.
Wait, was it like the Harlem Globetrotters?
The Washington Generals? Totally. The surprising many, the English team lost the first game to the Stanford All-Stars by 10 wickets, Elizabeth.
What?
Yes.
I don't even know what the score is, but what that even means. But they won.
That was the smaller part of the scandalous weekend, because Stanford also made headlines on both sides of the pond when he was involved in a scandal of his own, because people were all upset about him like buying a match against the English national team to face his Stanford All-Stars. They come down to my level.
Well, what did he just pay the best players in the world to come join it? Or?
Kinda. I mean, yeah, he was trying to basically build a dream team, but
so it was like the Yankees in the 90s.
Yeah, kind of. He also acted like this really uncultured lout, because he's just this big Texan. He's like the cliche of ugly American,
right.
and he's rich, and everyone's got to do what he says because he's bought the whole government.
I bet you his voice was so loud.
Oh, completely booming. Remember Backslapper, all that. Ooh. Also, he was like, hey, why don't you sit on my lap and we'll take a photo?
Oh, dear.
Because he acted inappropriately with players' wives and girlfriends from the English team. He was allegedly over-friendly with the wives and girlfriends, and it was bad. Yikes bad. Apparently there was a picture snapped with the Stanford and the English player Matt Pryor's wife, Emily Pryor. She's there seated on his lap, and the picture gets shown on the Jumbotron during the match.
Oh, like a Coldplay concert.
Exactly. And one of the English players, this guy, Stuart Broad, he's bowling at the time, pitching. And he said, quote, "When the pictures came up on the big screen, there were a lot of gobsmacked people on our side. Matt Pryor was in a state of shock, especially as his wife is pregnant."
That poor lady.
Right?
I bet you that every time people look up at the Jumbotron, then he's got Bill Clinton on his lap.
Yeah, he's got another person on his lap every time.
He's got all
Antiguan
these celebrities.
Santa Claus, but kind of pervy.
Yes, exactly.
So honestly, what did Alan Stanford care? Because he's a billionaire. He ran highly profitable onshore banking schemes for the ultra wealthy, and he was in bed with U.S. lawmakers and the prime minister.
Yeah, he's untouchable.
Essentially untouchable. So around this same time, a couple years earlier, in 2006, he was also knighted.
What?
He became Sir Alan.
Knighted by whom?
He wasn't knighted by the Queen of England. Instead, he was knighted by the Governor General, who was the representative of Queen Elizabeth in Antigua. So it was a semi-official knighting.
Yeah.
She didn't press sword to his shoulders. Exactly.
Knighting.
So by this, it's like getting married by a captain of a steamship or a cruise liner. So, although he didn't know it at the time, the world around him was a-changing. Because in 2004, Baldwin Spencer of the United Progressive Party, does not matter, he replaces Lester Byrd as Prime Minister of Antigua.
Uh-oh.
No fan of Alan Stanford.
Yeah.
He once said, and I quote, "This man has a lien on our whole country."
Thank you. Someone's got the blindfold off.
Oh, right. And to express his displeasure, when Stanford was knighted in 2006, the new Prime Minister, Baldwin Spencer, he refused to stand during the ceremony to signal his displeasure. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you ask the new Prime Minister, Spencer, he'd tell you he believed that Sir Alan was, and I quote, "haughty, arrogant, and obnoxious."
I love this.
As well, he's also more than sick of Sir Alan's, quote, "threats, innuendos, and now downright political interference in our nation's affairs."
Well, you know that must have been hard for him to politically to say those things.
Completely.
Because jobs are riding on this the whole economy is propped up.
Yes, he was like
creep.
The AI of their island.
He was their AI.
The whole economy is being riding on the success of this.
Oh, we laugh.
So around the same time, among the wealthy in Antigua, their opinion of Alan Stanford was that, as one person put it, he's either one of the world's greatest philanthropists or one of its biggest crooks. One of two ways.
One of two. It only goes two ways.
The reason that this was still up for debate in 2008 was Sir Alan's personal fortune was now calculated to be $2.1 billion. God. Forbes ranked him as the 605th richest person in the world.
How sick is that to have that much money put you at 600 something in the world? Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Well, also, as CNBC reported, in one 3-year period alone, he spent $100 million on aircraft, which included helicopters and private Learjets. He even spent $12 million lengthening his yacht by just 6 feet.
Oh,
because,
God.
Who doesn't want a longer yacht?
Right?
Right? Like in your yacht measuring contest, you always want...
How much? 6 feet?
6 feet. He paid $12 million to lengthen it 6 feet.
I don't even.
So $2 million a foot.
These people.
So, yes.
I do not understand these people.
So this is about when he reaches the zenith of his wealth and peak of his powers, 2008. But as the saying goes, what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
And even though these days it often doesn't feel like it, even a billionaire is beholden to the rules of gravity.
Oh, thank God.
But first, Elizabeth, let's take a break.
Yeah.
And after these messages, we'll see how it all goes wrong and how Sir Alan gets humbled by the tug of criminal gravity.
I cannot wait.
And we're back, Elizabeth.
Hello.
You ready for it all to fall down?
Yes, I am so ready.
I bet you are, you sick puppy.
I am.
So at this point in time, it's like 2008, right?
Yeah.
And do you know what else was happening in the world of finance in 2008?
Nothing good.
That's right. A total global economic meltdown brought on by the subprime mortgage fiasco, which was also because they were making financial instruments like derivatives out of things that shouldn't be derivatives.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a whole lot to that whole story. The main point is the world was in financial freefall.
Yeah.
And as we've heard on this show a time or two, one thing that always ruins a Ponzi scheme is a sudden economic downturn.
Yes.
Because if you're running a Ponzi scheme, what do you need? Now you have two problems. One, your so-called investors want their money back, or at least some of it.
Yeah.
And two, you don't have any new investors because everyone's holding on to their money, so you don't have the new suckers to bring in to generate the fake returns for your previous suckers.
Exactly.
I mean, clients, whatever. So this is what put the screws to Alan Stanford, the 2008 financial meltdown. Now, at the time, his Stanford Financial Group, now a global wealth management company with clients in 140 countries around the world, with assets valued at $50 billion, was all one big house of cards. And then someone shook the table.
Yes.
Of course, if you ask the big man himself, Alan Stanford would tell you in his booming Texas drawl that the financial meltdown didn't really scare him, right? You see, it really starts to surface in 2007, and then the financial world blows up in 2008, and then the shock waves kind of ricochet around the world in 2009.
Yeah.
But in 2007, Stanford bullish on the future. He bragged that, quote, "We haven't been caught up in all that subprime mortgage fiasco." And quite the contrary, he felt his firm was positioned well to take advantage of the chaos, just like old granddaddy did.
Yeah, swooping in.
Yeah, he's like, well, we're very bullish on making a lot of money in the next 20 years.
Off of other people's misfortune.
Exactly. His misfortune gets me excited. So this financial meltdown, it makes people act in unexpected ways, right? So it depends on how you see it. And how you see it depends on typically your age.
You're right.
If you're an older man accustomed to success, ups and downs, booms and busts, bankruptcies, and big cash outs, it's all cycles to you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a younger trader, a younger person in the financial world about to lose or risk everything for the first time, your choices look much different.
Right.
Which is what happened to Alan Stanford. He put the wrong two young men in a position where they didn't think they could see their way out, so they turned to someone for help. And who did they pick, Elizabeth? Financial investigators in charge of prosecuting financial crimes.
They'll help.
Because you see, Elizabeth, the SEC had been suspicious of offshore banking industry for a long time,
Right.
but had largely accepted them into the legitimate world of finance.
Yeah.
That said, their suspicions never went away. In fact, before the offshore banking industry was embraced by regulators, starting back in, say, 1995, the SEC had launched an investigation specifically into Alan Stanford's business dealings.
Okay.
Multiple times. You see, these examiners in the Fort Worth, Texas office, they conducted investigations into Stanford's dealings from 1995 through 1997.
Yeah.
And then again in 1998, then again in 2002, and then again in 2004. And every single time, wouldn't you know it, the investigators, as the DOJ actually put it, concluded that, quote, from each investigation that Stanford's CDs were likely a Ponzi scheme or a similar fraudulent scheme.
Wait.
Every single time.
So they investigate. They're like, yep, that's hinky. And then they don't do anything about it.
You guessed it, because they knew, as you pointed out, straight up Ponzi scheme. Not once, not twice, every single time. And then the examiners would refer this to enforcement, basically the Department of Justice, working with the SEC. And the enforcement arm would do nothing with those investigations. It was only when folks from the enforcement learned that another federal department was looking into allegations of money laundering by Stanford that the SEC people were like, oh, I guess we got to do something. And so they decided, like, where's the paperwork for the old stuff?
Wow.
Now, the DOJ believes this is merely coincidence. As the DOJ website helpfully explains, the OIG looked into any possible improprieties, and the Office of Inspector General for Governmental Oversight declared that, quote, the OIG did not find the reluctance of the Fort Worth Enforcement Group to investigate or recommend an action against Stanford was related to any improper professional, social, or financial relationship by any former or current SEC employee. They're like, their hands are cleaned. But there was one caveat. As the DOJ added, for, I guess, more color, there was evidence, however, that SEC-wide institutional influence did factor into the repeated decisions not to undertake a full and thorough investigation of Stanford. So they're kind of both sides in it. They're like,
basically.
Like, we can't find evidence, but clearly there's a pattern.
Evidence.
Yeah. You may see smoke, so you may infer a fire. None of us have seen the fire. Now, so this also may be like, oh, this is clearly because of all the political donations Stanford might use to influence the SEC.
Right.
That's not what the DOJ sees. The Department of Justice says that it was just too much work.
You know, that's the problem with a lot of things. It's just too much work.
What they literally said, and I quote, senior Fort Worth officials perceived that they were being judged by the number of cases they brought, and so they communicated to the enforcement staff that novel or complex cases that would involve significant time and cost were to have a low priority.
Wait,
they only wanted to go for the easy enforcement actions, like the mom and pop shops, the first-time businesswoman and businessmen who make sloppy mistakes.
Complex that touch on a lot of people's lives. Yeah. No, that's too much.
We can't go after the real pros.
I'm tired.
So you have to understand, Elizabeth, it's too much work, which is honestly worse than you expected. It wasn't corruption.
Yes, 100%
It was laziness.
Yes.
And a natural bias in favor of the wealthy.
Sure.
Anyway, so now that things are changing and the SEC is willing to do its job, suddenly there's federal investigations, and then these two whistleblowers step forward, and they were the ones who were, saying that the folks at the SEC were right to be suspicious, right to be doubtful about all these big returns from offshore banks.
Yeah.
So who are these two whistleblowers? Great question, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying with me.
Oh my gosh, of course.
The two whistleblowers are Charles Rawl and Mark Tidwell, and they had worked at Stanford Financial Group, and as the financial winds started to ravage the economy in 2008, they were put in the unenviable position of having to help Alan Stanford hide his crimes.
Oh, man.
Or else. And they were like, I'm a young man. I'm not going to ruin the rest of my life to help this.
Well, and they don't know that the feds are too lazy to do anything about this. So they think, oh, man, they're going to come at me. Yeah.
Exactly. So they resigned from the firm rather than embroil themselves in a whole billion-dollar empire of fraud. And then on July 4th, 2008, SEC announces that Rawl and Tidwell have turned state's evidence and are part of an ongoing investigation into Stanford Financial Group.
So they did like half the work for these.
Pretty much. Almost more than half, I would say.
Yeah.
So now at this point, Assistant U.S. Attorney Paul Pelletier, he's on the case. He starts to subpoena folks from Stanford Financial, see who he can get to talk, who he can get to flip. Elizabeth, you want to take a guess at who was only too happy to flip and do his boy dirty and turn snitch?
Wait, Jimmy D.
That's right. His old college roommate from his days at Baylor. His legit blood brother. Step on down, CFO of Stanford Financial, Jim Davis. Not the Garfield comic book artist.
Non-Garfield Jim Davis.
So his main man agrees to tell all that he knows to the DOJ in exchange for a lighter sentence in federal prison. And that was that. When the CFO is talking, everybody going to prison.
Yeah,
so,
seriously.
In February 2009, the SEC shuts down the accounts, freezes the assets of Stanford Financial Group. Offices are raided in Houston, Memphis, Tupelo, Mississippi.
Oh, not the Tupelo branch.
All the big financial centers of America. So Alan Stanford, he now stands accused of, as ABC News put it, quote, defrauding 50,000 customers around the world by lying about the return rate on certificates of deposit offered by his firm, Stanford Financial. And while no one is looking, he had pocketed $8 billion in return for his financial services.
Oh,
now get this.
Goodness.
When the charges are announced, Alan Stanford is nowhere to be found. Dude is gone.
Gone.
Yeah, like Jay-Z once said in the song Otis, I got 5 passports, I am never going to jail.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Alan Stanford had at least 2 passports, and he was willing to try to be like Jay. He's
That's true.
Give the bird a chance. So he had the means, obviously. He has a fleet of 6 private jets. He has those planes sprinkled around America.
Yeah.
They all get grounded and ordered returned to the corporate hangar by the FAA. They're like, these things are down. So I guess this was a good call because he did try to run. According to CNBC, Alan Stanford tried to arrange the direct flight to Antigua, where his offshore banking operations are based. He contacted a private jet owner at 3 p.m. and attempted to pay for the flight with a credit card, but was refused because the company would only accept a wire transfer. A source in the private jet industry said Stanford had been asked to leave by 6 p.m. So when he misses that flight, it does, though, put the FBI in the awkward position of now having a runaway billionaire on the loose, desperately looking to bum any ride he can on a private plane headed to Antigua. So now they got to hassle anybody with a private plane.
But the government,
do you have Alan Stanford on board?
The government in Antigua is not as friendly as it used to be.
No. Everything's turning against him.
Yeah.
He's going into stiff headwinds.
Yeah, it's not going to be the safe harbor he's thinking.
So at this point, where is Alan Stanford? Where does a billionaire hide?
Carmen Sandiego style. I don't know,
Bang up questions, Elizabeth. You know what? As a treat, rather than me answer you, close your eyes.
My eyes are closed.
I want you to picture it.
We can go to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, Flagstaff, Arizona.
It's late on February 18th, and you, Elizabeth, are at work. Just another junior FBI agent waiting for your chance in the field, hoping to make special agent someday. At the moment, you're in the office fielding calls sent over by a fellow government official. It's not as bad as having to cover the kook line. That's what you call the tip line for the public. When the phone rings, you're friendly as you answer it. The caller gets right to business. They say they're a postal inspector, and they've received a call from a relative. The relative is a pilot, and not just any old pilot. He's a pilot for private planes. In fact, he flew for Alan Stanford, and he saw that the FBI is looking for him, that he's on the run, and he knows where he likely is. He just wants to know, what would that be worth to the FBI? The relative, not the postal inspector. She seems to be a good egg, not looking for a payday for this info. You informed the postal inspector that there is indeed a reward for information leading to his arrest, and the relative can qualify for that. The postal inspector happily shares what she's heard. She says Alan Stanford is probably still at his girlfriend's house in Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's where the pilot flew him, and now all of his planes are grounded, so boom, boom, boom. You thank the postal inspector for the information, you take down her name and contact info, and then you hang up. Without a moment's hesitation, you pick up the phone and call your boss. As it rings, daydream images of you out of the field, kicking in doors, busting fraudsters. They dance before your eyes like sugar plum fairies. Then you hear the voice of your boss. You tell them the good news. You know where Alan Stanford is, or at least you think you may. Your boss is impressed. They decide to move on your tip. And not only that, they say if you can get to Fredericksburg by 4 a.m., you can take part in the raid. Moments later, car door slams shut. Keys turn in the ignition. The engine of your Jeep Cherokee Grand Wagoneer roars to life with a throaty growl. Wheels grip pavement as you back that beauty up, and then those same car tires squeal with seeming delight as you race out of the parking lot, headed to Fredericksburg, Virginia. Thankfully, it's not too far from your office at the FBI headquarters. You do indeed arrive in time, and you get there to be there when the FBI takes up its positions. And from the command center, standing next to your boss, you watch as the FBI team breaches the door to Alan Stanford's girlfriend's place. The home is a modest 3-bedroom townhouse. In the window of the home next door, you spot a bank repossession sign. That's a bummer. But in front of the girlfriend's home, there's a gold Lexus SUV parked out front. She's doing better than her neighbors, that's for sure. You're also taken by the sight of the American flag proudly hanging out in front of her home. Ah, she's a patriot, you think to yourself. A short while later, he is marched out into the dark and cold with a sad robe wrapped around him. He sure doesn't look like a billionaire, you think. You're not the only one. A little while later, you hear a neighbor, awoken by all the law enforcement activity, talking with the FBI agents at the tape line. The neighbor, also standing in a bathrobe, says, "You don't think someone from your neighborhood is going to do something like that, let alone in a townhouse neighborhood. You'd think he'd have some money to stay somewhere nicer," she says. You chuckle at that. Your boss asks what's so funny. You repeat what you just heard to your boss. He laughs. And for a follow-up, you make a joke about what Alan Stanford's wife will think when she learns where her husband was when he finally got caught. Your boss laughs harder at that one. You're on your way now, Agent Dutton.
Oh my God. I love the lady bagging on her own neighborhood.
Right? On the way.
She's here slumming it with the rest of us.
So, there you go. Stanford gets popped. And now when the news breaks of his arrest and his whole Ponzi scheme and how his blood brother and college roommate flipped on him and turned state's evidence like they were on the wire, things are not looking good for Alan Stanford.
Yeah.
He's accused of operating a massive billion-dollar Ponzi scheme for at least a decade, and they had corrupted the whole banking process, revealing how easy it is to defraud investors, especially from an offshore bank, so that's never good. Jim Davis explained all the details of how they did it. He cited, quote, bogus personal loans, and as Reuters reported, every month, Stanford and Davis set a predetermined rate of return for certificates of deposit issued by their Antigua bank. Then, bank accountants reverse-engineered financial statements to report investment income that the bank did not actually earn. So if you want the nitty-gritty of his financial fraud, in short, they lied about everything they could lie about, and they had the fake paperwork to prove it.
Right.
Or as the Department of Justice put it, Stanford diverted billions in depositor funds into various companies that he owned personally in the form of undisclosed loans. Stanford was thus able to continue the operation of his personal businesses, which ran at a net loss each year, totaling hundreds of millions of dollars at the expense of depositors. These businesses were concentrated primarily in the Caribbean and included restaurants, a cricket tournament, and various real estate projects. Evidence at trial established Stanford also used the misappropriated CD money to finance a lavish lifestyle, which included a 112-foot yacht and support vessels, 6 private planes, and gambling trips to Las Vegas. Sleaze ball.
Sleazy.
Now, when I say they had the fake papers to prove it,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, they did things like fake valuations of land against which they could then loan capital. So back to the DOJ. Stanford's internal accountants inflated on paper the value of a piece of real estate SIB had purchased for $63.5 million earlier in 2008 by 5,000% to $3.1 billion.
No.
Despite the fact there were no independent appraisals or improvements to the property. They just said, because I own it, it's now worth 5,000 times as much.
Oh, yeah.
So meanwhile, Stanford is looting the store, leaving everything he can.
Yeah.
He told, quote, depositors in more than 100 countries that their money was safely invested in stocks and securities. However, it was in reality being transferred to his businesses and personal account. So the DOJ knew what they were talking about because good old Jim Davis was making sense of the receipts and going, if you look in column A, look over here and see how that connects to column B. So the Fed's forensic accountants, when they get done with their audits, they reported that they were still unable to locate 92% of the $8 billion the bank reported that it had in assets. Yes. Now, the next year, in 2010, Sir Alan Stanford's knighthood was revoked, Elizabeth.
No.
Yes, because everyone knows you can't have people get caught running around telling people to call them sir. That simply won't do, Elizabeth.
I guess.
Now, I didn't say they couldn't be doing crime and running around telling people to call them sir. They just can't get caught.
Exactly.
So, give us back the knighthood. No more call me Sir Alan for you. So the next year, 2011, Alan Stanford's march to justice had to be paused after a judge ruled that, quote, Mr. Stanford did not have the present mental capacity to assist his lawyers.
No.
Yeah, you see, Elizabeth, he got jacked up in prison.
Oh.
Yeah, someone beat him up good.
Oh, no.
And he and his lawyers claimed that this was as a consequence, Stanford would be worthless on the witness stand. So a judge agreed, like, okay, let's pause the trial.
Yeah.
This lasted for a few months. Because, he couldn't dodge justice forever because a prison psychologist that he saw once a week while he was inside
Yeah.
came forward and said, this dude's capping. Or, as they put it, it would be incredibly rare that a patient would suffer from the sort of delayed memory loss that the disgraced Texas financier claimed he was suffering from. So the judge then reversed the prior ruling, is like, you're fit to stand trial.
So he was doing like it's the amnesia.
Yeah.
And
He was doing like a poor man's Vincent the Chin Gigante. He was like, in my head, I can't. What were you saying?
Who are you again?
Where is today Thursday? So finally, the next year, in 2012, Alan Stanford was convicted, found guilty, sentenced to 110 years in prison for his financial crimes.
Ouch.
As well, according to the DOJ, the court has also imposed a personal money judgment of $5.9 billion, which is an ongoing obligation for Stanford to pay back the criminal proceeds. He was 62 years old at the time, so good luck getting that money back.
Yeah.
You know, Alan Stanford's multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme was almost record-setting. That's how much it was.
Yeah.
In the final accounting, it was determined that to be history's second biggest, second only to, you guessed it, Bernie Madoff, the king. So as for his blood brother, Jim Davis, not of Garfield fame, for cooperating with the feds, he received a much, much lighter sentence to the tune of 5 years in federal prison. But the court also imposed a personal money judgment of $1 billion. God. Ouch. And that's not all, because the Canadian bank, TD Bank, eventually, and I'm talking about in 2023, the bank eventually agreed to pay $1.2 billion as a settlement against claims that the bank had failed to protect customers and had basically actively ignored red flags raised by Alan Stanford's financial crimes. They're like, you saw these numbers. How did you believe this? 5,000 times as much? So this was all basically $1.2 billion was a small sum compared to the total claims, which customers say they lost about $4.9 billion. And there were 20,000 customers all around the world who were impacted by this.
This is unbelievable.
As recently as 2024, victims of his financial crimes were still fighting to be repaid what they were owed.
You're kidding.
All because one Texan wanted to feel some kind of way by stealing billions of dollars so he could watch cricket in Antigua and beat the Queen's team or something like that. So there you go, Elizabeth. What's a ridiculous takeaway here?
You know, I think that I'm stuck on the government employees saying they're too busy, but more just it's too hard.
Yes, it's too much work.
And,
my job is so much work.
There's also, this kind of just takes me back. We've said it before that like there are no good billionaires.
No.
Like if you got that money, it I would say almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe 99% of the time.
Is this the Rihanna exclusion?
It's, I'm trying to hold off for you.
You do this for me, I appreciate it.
Rihanna. Or the people who wind up billionaires, you know, like Mackenzie Scott.
Okay.
And are just trying desperately to give it away.
Yeah, she is the ideal billionaire. And she's still making money. She can't give it away faster.
So that's the problem, is that once you reach that certain amount, you give it away and it just keeps generating its own ecosystem.
Completely.
But to get there, you got to step on a lot of people.
Crush, I think is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, and I don't trust them. Zaron, what's your takeaway?
What you said twice.
Yeah, perfect.
No, like in all honesty, like I got stuck with the same things. The fact that the SEC, like your only job is this.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's a lot of reading. I mean, like I just don't want to do it, you know. And have you seen how much math?
It's
like,
so boring, you guys.
You guys, like I just really love going after like a small business that I can just wrap my arms around and just choke them out a little. So yeah, all of it bothered me, and there are no good billionaires.
No, there aren't.
So you in the mood for a talk back, or we can forget all about Alan Stanford?
Yes, please, and thank you.
Talk back. Oh my God! Did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey, Rude Dudes, if you're curious about what it's like to be on the Antiques Roadshow, it is like 8.5 hours of standing in line. My family went for a taping in like 2004 in Tampa. Great Aunt Irma's pearls were worth a couple $100, but the rest of the stuff we brought was mass market trash from the 60s. Thank you for the podcast. Have a great day.
I love that. That kind of like that confirms my suspicions that it's a lot of, you know, hurry up and wait. Like you're just standing in a line forever.
Yeah, and then you find out it's actually Bakelite and it's not worth much. You're like, I was sworn this was.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. as always, please go out and look for us online. We are
Find us.
We're at Ridiculous Crime on Blue Sky and Instagram. On Instagram, you got some pictures. You can see what the folks look like, and they do a good job of like rendering the scene, if you will. Anything you were probably curious about, there's probably a photo of. And obviously, we have our Ridiculous Crime pod on YouTube. We mention it often enough. You should probably know about it, Rude Dudes, at this point. So if you like YouTube, go there, check it out. And you can find us on all the other normal podcasting apps. And sorry for Spotify. Apparently, they've been putting in ads in places we don't want them. So our apologies about that. We're trying to get that sorted. We'll see how that plays out. We also have our website, ridiculouscrime.com. And that's where you can find gifts and merch and all sorts of fun stuff. And just like hang out and see what the interns have cooked up for you. Also, obviously, we love your talkback. So please go to the iHeart app, download that, leave a talkback, and we'd love to hear your voice here. So do it. Oh, of course, I forgot. Email us if you'd like at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. We're probably going to have to do a email listener bag, and we're getting some good ones.
I think so.
Maybe we can stitch one together in the future. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, hit us up there. And also, if you want to make some confession, if the statute of limitations have passed, go for it. We don't recommend it, but they make us laugh. So there you go. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next crime. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the captain of the Ridiculous Crime cricket team and co-captain of the polo team, Mr. Dave Kustin. And starring Annalise Rucker as Judith. Research is by our blood sister and blood brother, Marissa Brown and Jabari Davis. Our theme song is by our house band, Don't Look at Us, Bernie Made Off With Our Fortune, a.k.a. Thomas Lee and Travis Dutton. The host's wardrobe provided by Botany 500. Producer Dave's wardrobe provided by Mr. Guy of Beverly Hills. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkleshot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben. You know, I used to sell CDs, except they were used CDs, Bolin. And Noel, you know, I used to spend a ton of money on your used CDs, Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.